where the viaduct looms like a bird of doom as it shifts and cracks, where secrets lie in the border fires and the humming wires. Yeah, man, you know you're never coming back. Past the square, past the bridge, past the mills, past the stacks. On a gathering storm comes a tall, handsome man in a dusty black coat with a red right hand. Wrap you in his arms, tell you that you've been a good.
Hello and welcome to episode number 2 of Midweek Banter. I am Sam.
What's happening, Sam? What's happening? What's happening, mate? Did you see those reviews last week? Did you see those reviews, mate? I am Azza. Ooh, how'd you like me now? It's going off, mate.
Azza Hearn, that's absolutely fantastic.
Do you like the roller?
You're looking slick, I'm not going to lie. The shades, the turtleneck, it's special.
It's all happening. Happening. How you been?
Yeah, honestly, as much as I enjoyed your Eddie Hearn impression, you weren't wrong about those reviews, man. I was completely taken away. The feedback we had was phenomenal.
Yeah, in all seriousness, it was good to hear. Good. Looked like we're doing a good thing. Uplifted a lot of spirits, didn't it? By the sounds of it, from the feedback. So happy days. We plough on.
Most definitely, and yeah, and I sent out to people who don't even know our midweek group, who don't know anybody, who only know me, and they were still finding. They watched the whole thing, didn't skip past anything, and had great reviews. And they talked about, oh yeah, you two got great chemistry, and you were playing some great segments. The quiz was wicked. The discussions were awesome. And fair play to Imzi, he was a fantastic debut guest as well.
Yeah, actually, we should have a quick mention on that. Imzi was brilliant, but I had so much stuff come at me after. We'll have to get him back on for sure. So Imzi's fasten your seatbelt, son, because you'll be back on for sure.
And I think he might come back for vengeance because you had him beat in the quiz in the midweek league. You had him beat.
I mean, I ain't being funny, Sam. That's a big 2 questions right, and everyone better be fucking shitting themselves now.
As it is coming
for
you.
One down and one more to go today.
Oh, okay. So you laid down the marker already. You're thinking that our guest today won't stand a chance. You're going to just move another one aside.
Yeah, that's the one, mate. That is the one. I suppose we better move on to him, I suppose. So what we got in store today, Sam? Obviously, we've got Ade with us live from Holland today.
Absolutely fantastic. Like we said last week, a legend of the game, legend of midweek. He's going to be going through his memories. He's going to go and be going through some of general football stuff for him as an Arsenal fan. And then you're going to be getting a little bit personal with him, as you like to do with the guests, and getting a bit up in his face. And
yeah, well, there's nowhere to run on here, mate. I've got him where I want him. Yeah, he better be prepared. Put it that way. I'm sure he is after seeing last week. So let's see if I can capture him on a few things.
I mean, after last week, we had people demanding to be guests on the next show. People,
yeah, I know.
Saying, put me on. I want on.
Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, it's obviously we had a little list beforehand, but that list is tripled, I think, already. So
we've got at least like a month's worth of shows, like sorted.
I was going to say, just before we bring him on, what's your thoughts on Ade and that, Sam? What do you remember of him coming in and that?
Ade, I remember him very vaguely. Sundays are a real. That's another thing. When I was talking about Sunday memories on last week, so many people brought up their own kind of Sunday memories, and I was like, oh shit, oh yeah, I remember that. So my memory isn't fantastic, but I remember vaguely sunny Sunday mornings, Ade showing up, and then there was a different switch. That's one of the switches I felt in the creativity and the skill level in the game. You saw that he wasn't like everyone else, and on a personal level, his vibe, his aura was just chill and easy to get along with and funny, and it was hopefully a lifelong friendship that was formed there. But
yeah. I mean, I've got to say as well, honestly, top person, Ade, top person, genuine person. I love him to bits, if I'm honest. I'm completely honest with you.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first met him, literally, again, same as last week, the first game I remember, we picked him up with Rish, and all I got told was, he went to uni with Rishi sort of thing. But I felt like me and him clicked straight away, really. And as a player, he's obviously classy player. Actually, he was probably the first one, Sam, I'd say. Obviously, after a while playing there, and obviously had the Sunday team, he's probably the first one I thought, you know what? One, I could get him playing Sundays, and two, he's capable. You know, he's the first one I thought he can make that transition, and not only is it enjoyable playing with him Wednesdays, but he would benefit my side on Sunday.
Yeah.
So I put him in the first one that made me think that way, and obviously since there's been a bit of a what would you call it? It's almost been like a little scouting camp, Sam. I've had a few come across now, but he was the first. So
yeah, it's interesting how that almost turns into like a feeder club for you, doesn't it? Like Wednesdays come along and you're like, I like the look of him, and then you pull him aside afterwards saying, hey, listen, yeah, have a little word with him. But Ade was the first graduate, was he, from the midweek to Sunday?
He's the first one that caught my eye, and I thought, you know what, he's capable of making that transition, and he had the tools where we could get him to a point where he could play Sunday. He come across with Jabs, him and Jabs come across together, but Ade was the one I thought, you know what, he can deliver for me and he can contribute to the Sunday team what was already there. So yeah. But yeah, I don't know about you, Sam. Should we get him in? I'm raring to go this week.
Just before we get him in, I think we should sport is back. Sport is somewhat back. I mean, it's starting to creep back into normal. Of course, it's done in like kind of behind closed doors and empty stadiums and empty arenas, but it's creeping back. And I'm guessing the first major company that was kind of saying, no, we're not going to let this stop us, was WWE, and they carried on and they had their WrestleMania. Vince McMahon was adamant that nothing was going to stop him, so he had WrestleMania behind closed doors, and I think Dana White decided to follow suit. So Saturday night they went ahead and they had UFC 249, and it was one hell of a card. It was an absolute barnstormer. It was a great.
It was a great watch, and it was nice to have something more back again. I'm probably not as a biggest fan as you, although I do enjoy watching the sport. I'm not, you know me. I'm more boxing side of things, so I'd watch like the bottom to the card to the top sort of thing, no problem. Whereas you're probably more like that UFC wise. But again, it doesn't matter in these times, is it? It was enjoyable watch, and I watched almost every fight, I think, to be honest.
Yeah, it was worth it as well. There was maybe one low-key fight out of the whole prelims and main card, but overall it was a great card. And then they've got another card coming up on Wednesday nights. Tonight, that's this show is going out Wednesday night. 2 nights there'll be another UFC card. And then this weekend as well, this coming weekend, they'll have another one. But Saturday night, they had UFC 249 from Jacksonville, Florida. And even with the loss of Jacare Souza versus Uriah Hall, that fight was supposed to happen. The card was still electric. I'll really, really quickly run through the prelim results. Because some of these fights, I don't understand how they were prelim fights, because usually they would make the main card. So I think Dana tried to pack it as much as possible as he could. So it started off with the welterweight division, Vicente Luque against Nico Price, and it was a war. But 1 minute to go, and the doctor stopped it because of a huge left hook landed by Vicente Luque. So he rises up in the ranks and
that was an awesome fight, by the way. That was
it
awesome.
was to kick it off for the first fight, an absolute war, and there was a bloody war as well, and they both really went at it. And then we went on to the women's strawweight division as Carla Esparza versus Michelle Waterson. It was a bit cagey, but I think usually when fights are a bit cagey, you can usually tell because it usually ends with a split decision. So it's either been a really bit of a cagey one or it's been an absolute even war. And this one looked like it was a bit more of a cagey affair. Fabricio Verdum made his return as well. It was good to see him back in the heavyweight division, but again, a split decision saw Alexei Olenek take the victory there and move him up south from the way. But then, if I told you ever, or any UFC fan, that this was a prelim fight, you would not believe me. Because in the welterweight division, we had Anthony Showtime Pettis against Donald Cowboy Cerrone. That in no ways should be a prelim fight. Never, ever. That's main event worthy. That's championship worthy. These guys know each other from early. They know each other from WEC days. And it was the fight that everyone thought it would be. Yeah,
when I heard they were fighting, I was trying to see on the card they were, and I was in shock when I see there was the prelim. So, but yeah, crazy. But again, good action.
In the night, yeah, and Pettis looks like his striking was pretty sharp. Cerrone had a bit more wrestling than we've seen him do before, but Pettis was looking sharp, and he took the unanimous decision for that. And then the main card. Part of me was so happy that it was back, but part of me felt that card deserved the atmosphere and the fans to be there.
Yeah.
The first fight, like you said, it was a bit low key, and it wasn't a massive one. There's two heavyweights going at it with Greg Hardy and Jorgen De Castro, and unanimous decision. Greg Hardy took it, but Jeremy Stephens and Calvin Kattar. That was a electric fight in the featherweight, both really going at it. And Kattar's really making a name for himself. And 2 minutes to go in the second round, and he dropped Stephens with an short, sharp right elbow and took him down and had a few more elbows to finish him off. So Calvin Kattar walks away with that victory. What do you think of that fight?
Yeah, it was a good fight, a good finish, very good finish. But I think it was what was the next one? Nothing. It was the heavyweight fight next. That I would describe as a alleyway mauling, because that thing didn't last long.
Exactly. If any of you are wondering which fight Azza's talking about, is Francis Ngannou, the number 2 heavyweight in the division, against Jairzinho Rozenstruik, who's number 6 in the division. And Rozenstruik actually was, he was coming up. He was making a name for himself. He had quite a few victories under his belt, and he called out. He had the balls to call out Francis Ngannou, and what happened?
He clearly don't lack confidence, but I'm in fear he might lack a head now, to be honest, because that thing got detached from his body.
That's exactly what I put it down. It was a decapitation. It was Francis Ngannou, and it didn't. There was a little bit of feeling out and a few strikes thrown back and forth, but it didn't take more than 25 seconds of the first round, and Francis Ngannou had enough.
Well, there's a thing I'm sure it resonates the same. You don't go backwards in a straight line with your chin up, and that's exactly what he done, and knockout. So
you're totally exactly right. And as much as Ngannou is a scary man and probably one of the most scary heavyweights of all time in UFC, Rozenstruik in a way was kind of asking for it. Like you said, he was going back. He was going to go back in a straight line, and his chin was way up in the air. And if there's anyone you don't want to leave your chin to, it's Francis Ngannou. So Francis Ngannou claims his 4th consecutive first round knockout. That is a scary stat. 4 fights in a row to get a first knockout.
Surely that title shot's got to be there for him next, surely.
I mean, rated number 2 as it is, and he was so humble afterwards. He was so softly spoken, so humble afterwards, saying, I don't make the fights, whatever fight comes my way, fine. But, I mean, if anyone argues otherwise, I would like to hear it, because I really think it's a shot.
Yeah, 100%.
And to be honest, it was such a good round of fights. I could have had it there. I would have been okay with it finishing there, but it wasn't. We moved on to the co-main event. It was Henry Cejudo versus Dominic Cruz for the Bantamweight Championship. And it was a tricky one because Cruz is one of my favorite fighters and one of the most intelligent fighters, not just in MMA, but I feel in all of combat sports, in boxing, in martial arts, in anything. His level of intelligence is just supersedes anyone. And I really, really, really appreciate him. I'm a big fan, but he hasn't fought since 2016.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's had 4 years out, right?
Long time out. And that was not even a victory, his last one. It was a loss. And either through injury or not being ready or other stuff as well. And he's been a great commentator on the sides next to Joe Rogan and John Anik, really giving his insight. But you kind of worry for someone that's been out for that long about ring rust.
Yeah, probably a year or 2 years is long, isn't it, Sam? You don't want to he's jumped straight in with 4 years out. So
exactly, yeah, like you say,
it isn't too bad in terms of rust, but that's 4 years is a big gap.
It's a massive gap, and like you said, to come back into a championship fight against Henry Cejudo, who is the reigning flyweight champion, the reigning bantamweight champion, and an American Olympic gold medalist in wrestling. That's somewhat, but if anyone could do it, it would be Dominic Cruz. And he actually said at the end of a fight a while ago that he doesn't believe in ring rust, that concept doesn't exist. And if you're mentally strong enough and you train well enough, then ring rust doesn't exist. And it's a valid theory, but obviously I think other fighters would tend to disagree. But it was a really, really good fight, a really, really interesting fight. The movement of Dominic Cruz seemed to be giving Cejudo some problems, but the leg kicks from Cejudo seemed to be wearing down Dominic Cruz. But then with 10 seconds to go in round 2, Cejudo landed a knee to drop Cruz. Now, what did you think of this stoppage? Because the knee was landed by Cejudo, Cruz dropped, Cejudo landed about 11 punches unanswered. However, to me, it seemed like a controversial early stoppage.
Yeah, I think, you know what, it's one of them. I wonder how the fans would have reacted had there been any in there, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's one of them now where it's happened, no one's there, all you can hear is a couple of commentators' views on it, and it's going to be kind of brushed under the carpet, I think, because there's not that uproar initially, and you get reactions of maybe the ref and etc. etc. And would he have reacted more had he heard other people thinking it was a bit of a thing? So I found that interesting, but I watched it back a couple of times. That actually, it's hard because he does take a good 8 clean, doesn't he?
Yeah. But
at the same time, he looks to be standing up. He looks to be up and on his feet, trying to, you know. But again, it's one of them, Sam. If he gets up, he's against the fence, isn't he? Does he say, "What we got?" You know, in the ref mind, does he take another 4, 5 clean and then he drops anyway? Or
I mean,
you know, it was one of them. I think it was hard because watching it back, you just thought, "Oh, okay." And then I watched it again and I thought, you know what? He's on his way up. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And he said that in the interview after the fight. He said, if I was out or not being able to defend myself or anything, then I wouldn't be on my way standing up. I would be going further towards the ground and I wouldn't be trying to get up. So, I mean, I don't think the referee made a massive mistake. I don't think it was this huge, obvious mistake. And he's always referee, and he's a great, Keith, I can't remember his last name, but he's a great referee, and he's always got fighter safety at top of his priority list.
Yeah.
But I feel Dominic Cruz was robbed a little bit, but I can't really blame the referee for making the call that he made.
I wouldn't mind seeing it run back, possibly, but again, the flip side, had the ref come in that couple of seconds sooner, it wouldn't have been the fact of he was getting up. The talk would have been he's taken a knee, and then 4 or 5 shots or 8 shots, whatever the case was, and he's not getting up, because if the ref comes in and stops it maybe that couple of seconds sooner, I don't think it's right. So it's a weird one, but it stands, he looked all right, didn't he? So
in like, drawing the parallel to maybe like kind of football with VAR, unless it's a clear and obvious error, with the fact that we're having this much discussion about it, and you have to watch it back a few times, and then I had to watch it in slow motion, and then Joe Rogan even changed his mind.
Yeah, that's right.
I think if it's that fine, then maybe you can't have too many complaints. But then you talking about a chance to run it back. And in an absolute shocking turn of events, Henry Cejudo comes out and after the fight announces his retirement.
Yeah, which was mad.
At 33 years of age, reigning flyweight, reigning bantamweight, gold medalist, and he says that that's his time. He wants to go out on top. I'm guessing that you want to beat the standard bearer that is Dominic Cruz in that division and retire on that high note. And he said he wants to start a family with his missus and take things slow and enjoy his retirement. About 33, I mean, I feel like he's a great athlete. I feel like I'm being robbed a little bit. Like I want to see more of him.
Yeah, I agree. It kind of, I've not thought about this until now, until you spoke. It kind of reminds me of, remember Nico Rosberg, F1? And he kind of won the championship, didn't he? And then he just bailed out.
Yeah.
He just bailed. And he was with the best team, best car under him. He just won the championship.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. There's a bit of that there, and I think maybe it's the time, Sam, maybe. Sometimes people got a different view on things now, and he's bailed out.
Yeah.
He's going to start a family, and that's what he wants to do. That's what he wants to do. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm sure there'll be more talks about that, as I'm sure Dana will be on his case, put it that way.
Yeah, most definitely. And some fighters do have the tendency to be talked back out of retirement sometimes. Yeah. So hopefully for the benefit of the fans, but obviously the only person that knows the really true decision is Henry Cejudo. So Henry Cejudo retains his bantamweight championship. And in the main event of the evening, the lightweight interim championship between Tony Ferguson, who was the #1 contender, and Justin Gaethje, who was #4. And the winner of this fight would pretty much be guaranteed. You'll be holding the interim championship, and you will be going on to unify the fight against the undefeated, reigning, defending Khabib Nurmagomedov at 28-0. And that's quite, I mean, whoever was to go and fight Khabib after this one, whether it be Tony or whether it be Justin Gaethje, would have been a great fight. But what did you make of this one?
Oh, it was the fight itself was unbelievable. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. And I'll tell you what, tough. Both of them are tough motherfuckers, man. They're solid, aren't they? And I'll tell you what, Ferguson's chin is unbelievable.
It's unreal. It's unhuman.
Unbelievable. I ain't joking. He must have took 25 plus shots clean to his head. And the ref had to stop it.
Yeah.
The man did not hit the floor.
No, he was still standing. He was still standing. And like you said, I've never seen, and even with never ever seen Tony Ferguson in this much trouble and taking this much abuse, he still, as you said, did not drop. It was like an alien-like performance. It's scary. That's why he's known as the boogeyman, because he just keeps coming. He keeps coming and he doesn't stop. But with 1 minute 20 to go in the final round, Tony was still on his feet, but Herb Dean had seen enough. And just looking at Tony Ferguson's face and the shots that Justin Gaethje was landing, Herb Dean decided to call it, and Justin Gaethje is the interim lightweight champion.
I wouldn't. Was it getting hard to watch? I don't know. I've probably seen worse, but he was hurt. He was hurt. And I think Herb probably thought, I've seen enough of him taking these shots, because he was taking them all clean. Yes. All of them were hitting him clean. And yeah, I mean, the fight was great. The only thing I could say is obviously the feedback I've had since, in terms of talking to people, was obviously they now feel robbed with, obviously Tony Khabib's on the ropes again, innit? Because you'd say, if you're going to make the fight now, Justin has to be in there. You can't, and that may mean that we don't get Ferguson and Khabib ever. Who knows? But that's been the general thing from me, and even to the point of, hey, who's this fucking Justin? Blah blah blah. All this, you know what I mean? Everybody, I think a lot of people thought Ferguson was going to win and wanted him to win because of what the fight we was all expecting, and then obviously still wanted. So, but yeah, I mean, you can't take it away from man. That was an unbelievable performance. Yeah. And like I said, both of them, both tough as hell.
Really. Yeah, I mean, and just pure warriors of the octagon, and Justin Gaethje's stock definitely just went up after that performance. So
yeah.
He and then we might still get. I mean, I think Dana is he's very money oriented as well. He's very fight oriented, but he's very money oriented. So I think we probably will still get to see Tony Ferguson, but Tony Ferguson was like saying the amount of times that Khabib has backed out, he doesn't really want to fight him anymore. So there's that element to it as well. But I guess there's a lot up in the air at the moment about when and if Khabib can fight again, and then Tony Ferguson obviously going to have a long time out after the battering that he got. So,
what I will say is fair play to him, though, because really and truly, he's got that big money fight in his hand. He didn't really have to fight. Did he? He didn't really have to fight.
No.
If he said, no, I'm going to sit and wait, because really and truly, he probably could have. Really. Exactly. But he put it all on the line, and you know, fair play. You know, the man lost to on the night. It was a better man on the night, wasn't he? So
most definitely. And I think anyone who underestimated Justin Gaethje, if you can walk through Tony Ferguson like that, then maybe it needs to be reevaluated, and the respect definitely for Justin Gaethje went up. But again, like you said, Tony Ferguson didn't have to take the fight. He had the money fight lined up, but then you see where people's priorities lie. Like him and Donald Cerrone, they're just like, any fight, just put it in front of me, I'll fight again. It's fine. So, and fair play to them, and that's what makes the sport like this so lovable. So an incredible UFC 249, an amazing card. And where again, I'm happy to have sport back and watch it. I don't know how much I agree that it's back, but obviously we're not going to stop Dana White from putting on shows. So he's got another one on Wednesday night and another one on Saturday. But UFC seems to be back. Yeah,
they look like they're going to. They've been given the green light to carry on now, I suppose. And unless they got anything coming back from the fighters that compete, I don't think that's going to stop. I'm probably with you on that, Sam. I'm not sure if I'm 100% with it. I've heard Dana's got into a few squabbles on social media with actually boxing promoters. Funny enough, because the boxing guys are kind of stay on the straight line sort of thing, and they're not willing to put it on or risk the fighters and stuff like this. But obviously Dana's gone in, and I suppose the flip side of it is, like you mentioned earlier, you see the wrestling carrying on, and they've got their own performance centre, and Dana's probably thinking, why not? And you know, it's an hard one. I just didn't like the fact. I felt there's probably still too many people about really as well, Sam, and then you got Joe jumping in the ring. You know, he's shaking everybody's hand, and you're thinking there's not a lot of precautions being taken, is there really? But again, I don't know. Everybody's obviously been tested before they've gone in, so then they probably feel everybody's safe within that building. So I don't know how they viewed it, but
well, it's a really weird one, because they seem to be taking precautions in some instance. Like they didn't let Joe Rogan, Daniel Cormier, and John Anik sit next to each other on the commentary table. They had to sit in different areas, so they just all had the camera on them like we do now, and they were sitting on different parts of the arena. But then at the beginning of the show, when they're doing the introductions, they're all standing next to each other. And then Joe Rogan was going inside the cage, like you said, to interview the fighters. And I think if you're gonna make decisions, then be consistent with your decisions. Either you're standing up to it and you're putting on shows, or you're erring on the side of caution and you're not doing shows. Do one or the other. Don't kind of sit in the middle of it too. And no one's immune to it, because, like we said, Jacare Souza was supposed to fight Uriah Hall, and then I think 2 nights before the fight, Jacare Souza tested positive for COVID-19. He had no symptoms, but he had been in contact with family members who had it, and he tested positive. So and his corner did as well. So I mean, imagine how close it was to Uriah Hall then and then the referee getting all this if had that been tested. So I don't know. I think it's just no one's quite sure. They just want to get stuff done, and they're not maybe being patient as they should be with the lockdown. It's a bit of a sticky one, but
like I said, I'm not sure how they're viewing it, but I'm not sure I 100% agreed on it, to be honest. But the other side of the coin was I enjoyed the live action that was on. So
exactly, and the live action doesn't just stop with UFC. The Germany have allowed Bundesliga to continue. So this coming weekend, we're going to see the return of the Bundesliga on Saturday and Sunday. It will be behind closed doors, but all the teams will be back in action. And again, it's a bit of a sticky one, isn't it? Because
I think I think it's come out couple of days ago, we got the Bundesliga. I think their League Two as such.
Yeah.
They've got a whole team. I'm assuming they've had a few test positive, and now that whole team is down for a 2-week isolation. So, how does that affect that league coming back? Because you've got a whole team out for another 2 weeks now, and then does that team need an extra week to train again? Are you going to allow that? You know, how does that play out? And what level? You know, what's the difference? Like, is the main league getting extra testing and all that compared to the League Two? So, you know, but it sounds like they're still going ahead. So I'm not sure how that's played out. And obviously in Serie A as well, I think another Sampdoria player. I think there's a fourth Sampdoria player. I think I'm right in saying has been tested positive. So don't sound like things are getting much better out in Italy either. So I kind of feel if we were going to stop, we would have stopped by now. But I think we've got all eyes over on what's happening in Germany. But again, the stuff we talk about, but I mean, if the action goes ahead, you know, it's good for us to see it. But do we 100% agree with it? Probably not. So... But anyway, if it goes ahead, which it sounds like it is, I think we've got Dortmund and Schalke going against each other, and they've seemed to have split the fixtures out quite nicely. So we should be able to view quite a few games over the next weekend.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, like you said, we may not agree with it, but it's here. We're not in charge, and if it's here and it's being shown, we're not going to watch it out of principle. We still love our football, we love our sport, so we're still going to have it watched. So yeah, we'll at the end of the show, when we're talking about things that maybe we'd like people to watch, we'll do a little preview of the matches that are coming up and which matches, and they should be on BT Sports, so it should be accessible for most people if you've got a subscription. And so so at the end of the show, we'll talk about the fixtures coming up in Bundesliga. But now, after the break, we're going to be coming to our guest, the man of the hour. We're going to be talking to the one, the only. We're going to be talking to Ade. Come back after this. Hello and welcome back to episode 2 of Midweek Banter. We are joined by the one, the only, live from the Netherlands. It's Ade. Welcome.
Hey.
What's up, lads? What's up?
Do we all say
the blacklist?
Or like, what do we say after the drum?
Yeah. I'm here.
What's happening, mate?
I'm all good. Just chilling. Our quarantine's a bit different to yours. We're a bit more relaxed. So I was in the park all day yesterday, which was good. So I'm feeling great.
Serious?
Yeah. They've started to relax the measures now. So hopefully.
When did that come in?
Well, they had like announcement on the 6th, and then from the 11th, we start introducing more things where people can start going to restaurants and 1.5 meter distance, and then people could be like 30 people in a restaurant, barbers are open and all of that shit. And then yeah, for the next month, they're gonna start like adding more and more.
So what's happening for you, like football-wise, then, if parks are open? Can you still play?
We're back. So clubhouses are back open. There's just no official fixtures until September the 1st. But clubhouses are back, so we're actually going to be training on Wednesday, which I can't wait, mate. I haven't played football in so long.
Why you told me that?
Huh?
Why you told me that?
My feet have been twitching, like I've been sleeping and kicking balls in my sleep. So I'm just happy to get back.
Oh. I was who you with? Who are you living with? Because the family's over here, right?
Yeah. So I've got a flatmate with my mate. He's from England as well. So we live together out here. So we've been keeping each other sane. I don't know what I would have done if I lived by myself throughout this whole period, if I'm being honest. It's been really good.
Fair play.
How is the family out here? You spoke to them?
All right. They're keeping away from everybody, social distancing from everybody. So
thank you.
In separate houses as well. So yeah.
And the missus is still over here, right?
Yeah. She's over there. So that's the difficult part, where you're like 9-8 weeks and you haven't seen. I'm used to seeing at least once a month, but we have to deal with it. I don't want to die. So
no.
take the measures possible.
So is that your line to like, baby, I love you, but
I mean,
Yeah.
death is not something that we would. Yeah, I think you'd like me more alive. To be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
And what about work? Are you able to, so I'm guessing if lockdown isn't as tight as it is here, then you're going back to work, or?
Yeah. So basically, I've been working the whole time, but we work remotely. They're quite set up to work remotely here. But what they've said about like the lockdown is, let's wait that out before we start enforcing people to be in kind of those close situations where there's loads of people, because there's only so much you can adapt an office to kind of give the space. So they said on the 1st of January next year, there's not going to be pressure for companies to start having people back in their offices, and they're still going to encourage you to work from home. So it could be the best of both worlds, because I enjoy working from home. I think it's, you can have a clear head and you don't have people, coming to speak to you at the last minute and distracting you from your priorities. So that's a good thing about being here, to be honest.
That's brilliant. That's a really, really good way to operate things. I think here the country is going to be kind of almost like pressurized into everyone back to work, back in the office as soon as possible, and they're going to be
just go back again. Yeah, so I think that's a good initiative. So they're being quite smart over here. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't really kept up with the whole British situation, but over here they're being quite smart with it. So
it's well, we don't want to get to any trouble. I was about to say something then, but I thought no, we've only just started. Let's not end this thing already.
Yeah.
And so you're saying that people are kind of like in the parks and clubhouses are open again. So how is it as far as like kind of going out and socializing and clubs and
clubs aren't opening. Clubs, bars and restaurants are going to slowly be getting opened, and they'll have like restrictions on the amount of people that can be in there. But the clubs, no. They've said no large events, festivals, clubs till September the 1st. But park spaces, there's policing, making sure that people are keeping a distance away from each other. And even if you're in a group of people, you can't really sit too close to the group of people. But I think generally here as well, they just don't want to get really too close to anyone. So if you come too close to people in the park, they're like, yeah, you need to kind of back up. You need to get in the room and get out of my face. So they're quite good at following the rules here. So it does, you do have confidence when you go out in a social environment.
Yeah. I can imagine you having more confidence than when we go out here, and you're never sure whether someone's going to be on their own agenda. And well, not that we're kind of, but even like kind of on tubes and public transport and stuff. And it's like, are people going to be respecting your distance even if they don't care too much about it? So, but you are rubbing it in our face that you're going back to training on Wednesday. Well, we're missing Wednesdays. We're not being able to play for a long time, and it's been a bit tricky. But if it wasn't for Midweek Football, we have a lot to be grateful. It introduced us to you. That's how we all have ended up knowing each other, the three of us here. That's how we got to know each other. But what are your kind of early memories of how it all started for you for Midweek?
I think Midweek was, to think about it, because I heard you guys speaking before, and for me, Midweek comes from the Sunday game. Like the Sunday game, because I just got in right at the end of like the Sunday game where it was, Nick, Khalil, and people like that. And I got introduced, I think Rishi was the person who brought me into the game. That him being the agent that he is, bringing so many players through at that time. So I came in and I didn't know anyone, but everyone just wanted to play on Sundays. But it was a level where I thought, okay, well, I can play well here and just get game time again and again and again. So I was coming from, where I live compared to Bushy.
I'll come on to that. Like your dedication. I don't think there's anyone that's come from further than you have. I mean, was it? I mean, you're a human, so I'm guessing there's times where you felt like, oh, am I really kind of up for trekking it today on this?
No. Every morning on Sunday when it started, I was like, cool, I'm ready. And then when it changed to Wednesday, I was like, I want to get out of work in enough time to be able to get back. It rarely happened that way, but when it comes to football, I don't care where I have to travel to. As long as I can get home, then I don't mind. I don't know. It's a weird thing that I have, but I will go anywhere. I mean, I've been to go and play different games with Azza and stuff in different locations. I don't care where I have to get to. As long as I can get picked up and get home, then yeah, that's it. So I guess with the Sunday, like that was the earliest memory, just the trek up there. But it was really good people, good fun. And then I think what it was missing was the competitive edge. So my earliest like kind of memory of midweek is that like that's when it changed and everyone's like, right, we all want to win more than have a kickabout and chill with each other after. We want to win. We want bragging rights. And that just intensified as it went on, and as technology gave us more opportunities to be in contact with each other, then we kind of like the competitiveness really. So those are my earliest memories. Just the change in like dynamic is like now it's a proper game on the midweek side.
Can I just a quick one, if I could jump in?
Yeah.
Ad, do you remember? Because I was talking to Rish, and obviously I mentioned it last week. Do you remember? Because I'm certain, because the night we picked you up, which was my first game, which happened to be Ruislip for 1 week, we picked you up, but we picked up someone else. There was a fourth man in our car, and I can't remember who the hell it was. I don't know if you can remember. We picked him up from East Coach Station, but I don't know, because I said to Rish, I don't know if it was another uni mate from you two or something like that, but we both couldn't remember.
I have no clue.
Yeah, me and Rick don't either, which will probably actually I've asked you and you don't know, but
Check the appearances. You gotta check the appearances, see who's got like a 1 or 2 or something like that.
And
I think we've asked Imzi about appearances enough now. I think he's had enough of us for now.
yeah,
a bit ruffled by that question. But hopefully the beauty of this show and the beauty of technology is if there is that person and he just happens to be watching, he might reach out. It was me. I was in the car with you.
Come forward. I need to know who was in that car with me.
Reveal yourself. And so, Ade, talking about memories and things, do you have any kind of standout games that we've had, or moments, or goals that you've scored, or anything like that?
I have to be honest. There's a couple standout games. I think the first one was like one of the first weeks, and it was me and Jabs on the same team. And me and Jabs were just, I don't think anybody had seen us play together before, and we hadn't played together that much. And we were just like killing it. Yeah. And the chemistry was just there, and it's just like crazy. And after I was just like, whoa, what, like that game still stands out for me because it was kind of like we were untouchable. There's so many games that are probably even better than that. There have been more battles, like back and forths. But that one stands out for me because I think like that was one of the best games that I've played.
Yeah.
And Jab was there playing as well. So no, that's a specific game that stands out. But I guess like there was a few characters in the game as well, in the sense that for me, a real part of the midweek. So Mun, Abbas B, like I remember Mun in his pink boots, and Abbas B and his like Roberto Carlos shots back then, and like all those games they had those people in. So it's like when I think about it, the first few people that we started playing midweek with, that's why it's like watching a football game and seeing Nedved and Figo. It's not to say that De Bruyne and stuff aren't really on the level, but there's just something about certain names that make you have this attachment to that whole era of football. That's the same thing. Yeah.
So well, seeing as you're dropping some names now, I know it's been maybe a little while since we all played together, but I thought I'd do a quick fire kind of style with you, just to ask you about some of your teammates that you've either played with or against. And then actually I'm going to turn it on you, Azza, afterwards as well, and ask you the same sort of questions. So just top of your brain, as quick as you can, let's see who you come up with, and about your teammates from Midweek Ballers. So hardest worker.
A few moments later.
I think I'm going to have to say either you, Sam, or there's 3 people that I would say that work extremely hard no matter whenever they get on the pitch. That's Sam. I think Bran, on a lot of occasions, works tremendously hard. And
I swear Sam said quick.
probably Imran Modelina.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, I don't know anybody who runs as much as that guy when we're playing midweek. Like, that is, yeah, he's the top. It's quite intense even playing against him or with him because it's just like, work rate central. So,
yeah, exactly. Like a Duracell bunny, just keeps on going. Who do you say is the quickest player?
Oh, that's easy.
It's got to be out of Z, Connor. Yeah, Connor. I don't know. That guy's inhuman. He had inhuman speed. I don't know if we're, going to classify that, but his speed is just ridiculous. I don't think I've seen a faster human in my own. I'm being 100% honest. With or without the ball, he's lightning.
Perfect. How about flipping it now? The slowest player?
I'm Shanu.
Yeah.
He's the slowest, but he's got a good touch, so it makes up for it. He don't need to sprint. When he's having a game, he's having a game. But I think he's one of the slower players.
But he plays to his strengths, though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Most definitely. How about the hard man of the group? Who's the hard nut?
Before, I would have said someone different. But I think now the hard man of the group is Imzi. He takes no prisoners. I would have said Wowji before, but Imzi now takes no prisoners. Like,
you feel he's ramped up a little bit?
Yeah, he's ramped up a little bit. He uses his physicality a bit more in the game now. So it's like, if you're playing against him, he don't mind getting knocks and blah, blah, blah. As long as you're not getting past him, I would say Imzi is the hard man now.
How about most skillful, best with their feet?
For me, it's Jabs or Z. Jabs or Z. I would stay Z because Z, his tricks, they get past people all the time. And he's got the speed to catch up to it, if that makes sense. He doesn't look for a nutmeg, for example. However he's going to make you look silly, he'll do it. Like, I think Z, out of the people that I've seen, most skillful Z.
Who would you say is the most intelligent player? Now, that could be either football-wise intelligence or general intelligence. Either one is fine.
General intelligence, I'm not sure. I couldn't give you on the general intelligence. But there's two players that are the most intelligent that I've seen on the pitch that rarely like to make a bad pass, that know when they're on it, they're going to keep their team in it and do everything right. It's Harvey and Lux. Those are the two most intelligent footballers.
Oh, yeah. Lux is a name we haven't heard in a while. That's good. Someone else that we've been missing from midweeks as well.
Never placed the pass when he was in his pomp. He will always pass the right pass. He wouldn't be too ambitious when it wasn't cool to be too ambitious. He always kept the ball. So that's one thing I liked about playing with Lux.
Was there something Kevin De Bruyne-esque about him?
Oh, my God, 100%. It's Lux De Bruyne. It's LDB.
Okay, you might get yourself in some hot water for this, but that's what the show is about. So you talked about the most intelligent. Now let's flip it to the least intelligent.
Hey!
This is hard-hitting journalism here, lads.
The least intelligent player that we've played.
It might not be that doesn't mean they're the worst player. It just means the least intelligent.
Nah, in general, Sam, it means the worst player.
No, I wouldn't say that. That's the
I'm trying to think. I think at first, if I'm being honest, it was Imzi. I didn't think Imzi was, from my point of view, when I first started playing with him, he wasn't playing like someone who'd played football consistently for a period. So there's certain things that when you just play regular football, you do like the back of your hand, or you know where the space is going to be. I don't think he had that. And it's been crazy to see what midweek, I mean, we've been doing this for like 8-10 years. It's crazy to see how someone can improve just by getting that regular practice. But for me, the least football intelligent person that I first saw was Imzi, because he didn't seem to be somebody that played outside of that arena or had that competitive game that was going to challenge him to be better every week. But as you see, this has done wonders. So
I agree. I was actually going to say last week, but I didn't want to do it while he was on. He's probably the most improved player, to be fair.
Yeah.
In terms of growth, people may not, rate him now, possibly, but in terms of growth from where he was to now, he's probably the most improved.
Yeah. I mean, from me seeing, and I've had the chance to leave the country, not see anyone play, and then come back. He's just seeing that. Yeah, I would agree with that statement 100%. So.
Yeah, having that absence, it does allow you to put things in perspective and see things differently from the way we're seeing it playing every week. The joker of the group. Who's the joker of the group? I think I know the answer.
Only one. I think it's an easy answer. It's Ali. It's Ali. I love that guy. He's just he's the joker of the group. He's one of those people you need in every dressing room, to be honest. So Ali.
Yeah, most definitely, especially on games like this where where we have that chill time afterwards in the car park.
Exactly. Yeah. And the camaraderie, and he keeps us all in contact. As much as he can be the person who gets all the heat from everybody, he sometimes he's making everyone in the group laugh. So
I think he welcomes that heat. I think he loves it. I think he thrives.
Yeah, he has the attention, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And lastly, you have no way of knowing this, but who do you think is the longest in the shower?
Me? Can I say myself?
Yeah, you can say yourself. Yeah, would you say it's you?
Depends. If we're talking about long in terms of duration, that's what I mean. So
No, you meant it both ways.
That's why he said me straight away, isn't it? That's why I said
no. I'm talking about duration. I'm the person who takes my time getting ready. I pretty much have a shower before the match every week. I'll call it a shower. You guys know what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Azza, you want to do this round now? You got some quick fire answers for that one, or?
Yeah, to be honest, I had answers popping into my head for all of Addie's questions, so this shouldn't take too long.
All right, cool. Ready? Here we go. Quick fire. Hardest worker?
Rossi.
Quickest?
Connor.
Slowest?
Shanu.
Hard man?
Walgie.
Most skillful?
When you asked Addy, I kind of had jabs in my head first, to be fair, so I'll go with that.
Okay.
C as well. Addy was right, probably both.
Yeah. Most intelligent?
That's the one I was stumped on when you asked Addy. I do like Addy's answer, but he didn't pop into my head straight away. Lux is a good player, don't get me wrong. I think Addy's up there.
Yeah.
I think Addy's a clever player. I'm going to go with Addy. Addy's my final answer.
Hey, come on.
Addy's intelligence and his vision, I think is somewhat unparalleled, because him and Harvey sometimes see passes that I don't think anyone else sees, and Addy's got a very kind of trademark style of pulling off that kind of like a no look, the little tuck round pass there. So
only because one leg's littler than the other, and I can do it. And I can swing it around my body. Otherwise, it won't work.
How about Lucy?
But I'll just quickly, there's a few out there that know. For me, you got to know the game. Like Addy can play fucking chuck him in 5-a-side, 7-a-side, 11-a-side. He's more than capable. He's more than aware of what he's got to do. And I think there's other players like that. Like Rossi's very, very intelligent, knows the game inside out. Jake, Rishi, we've got a lot of players like that. So there's more. There'd be more than one answer there. So
it's that one's tricky to kind of put someone at the top. Maybe this one's a bit less tricky. The least intelligent.
Oh, I ain't gonna lie. Like I probably agree. Like Imsy was a good one, but I ain't gonna lie. I was gonna say Shafi straight away.
Oh my word! You have opened up a potential can of worms. Thanks to you now, that group chat is just gonna go off. You're not gonna hear the end of it.
Everybody's gonna mark down that minute of this video, and it's gonna go everywhere.
Yeah, it's gonna become a meme. Who'd say is the Joker of the group?
Yeah, Shafi's the clown, and he's like the class clown, isn't he? Every day, every week. That you can't filter through it, mate. There's probably 10 hotspots of stuff most days.
Yeah, quite. It's like a machine gun, isn't it? Just like rapid fire.
You don't run out of content either.
Again.
No, don't.
And then again, you have no way of knowing this, but longest in the shower. Who do you think?
Well, I can tell you, like, Addy's pre-match stuff takes a long time. But longest in the shower, no idea. What would you base that on? Who's vain? Fuck knows.
I mean, there's so many avenues that you could take that question down. It's just really up to your interpretation. Who might kind of?
Yeah, I bet Walgie sits in there for hours. Flexing his guns and whatnot and giving the shot.
Yes, that's a great shout. That is a great shout. Oh, you might get a picture.
The head of the shower head as well.
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah, that's it. 100%.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Ade, that was teammates. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, right. On that note, Ad, So we want to know, now we've spoken about a few of the players, is what would your best 7-a-side team out of all the lads that have ever played, if you had to pick 7?
Woof.
See, the thing is, I'm going to have to miss people out because there's people that are up in positions and it's a toss-up between 2, but it doesn't mean like one person's worse. It's just, yeah. So if I was picking a team, it would be... I'm going to have to say Sam in goal, just because all the keepers that have come there, Sam wasn't a keeper before, but I've all the keepers I've come there, I've seen kind of like Sam make ridiculous saves. So Sam in goal. How many players I got left? 6, right?
6.
Right.
Yeah.
Centre back. I have to go you. Not just because you're on the call, but because for what you might not have in speed, your football brain is there. And if you need to push out, like you can organise a defence as well. I'm going to go right back with Shanks. Shankar.
Shanky C?
Yeah. Shanksy.
Yeah, nice.
Right, Shanksy. He gives you goals as well as solid defending on his day. Left back. It's a tough one, you know. It's tough. I wasn't prepared for this.
No.
Left back. I'm probably gonna go Wowji.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, because Wowji's solid, and he's got aerial threat as well, and he's like competitive. He doesn't want to lose ever. Can I include myself in this?
Yeah, of course you can.
In midfield, I'll go me next to Jake.
Yeah, like that. You got one man left, striker.
Who's a striker?
Yeah, this is tough.
There's plenty of them.
And that's not, as I said, because I love Lux as a player. I love all these other players, but Jake, he's complete footballer in terms of the game. He can do anything that you need him to do. So I'll go next to Jake. Up front, it's going to be controversial. I'm going to go Hardick.
Nice, yeah. Why is that controversial?
Yeah, I was going to say...
Because there's a whole load of other forwards that could have gone there. And like, you know, I think I've not picked a team that's got tremendous pace, but the intelligence of someone like Hardick and his ability to finish and then drop into midfield and allow a striker to go ahead of him, I think he's amazing at it. He can link up just as well as he can actually be the finisher, and he's got a lethal finish. So I'll definitely go Hardick because there's a bit more versatility between me, him and Jake. I could have gone Rishi, for example, because I know if you give Rishi anything in and around the box, he's going to score. But I think approach play, Hardick's got a bit more to his game, whereas Rishi's kind of like an old school centre forward, off the edge. Any chance you give him, he's going to score kind of thing. But whether or not it allows for him to interchange with the players behind him, I don't know. So that would be my 7, thinking like off the top right now that you've asked me, to be honest.
Nice, I like it. A good team. I don't think there are going to be too many arguments there. Well, I say that, it's going to be uproars, mate, but...
Yeah, no, I can explain myself, but yeah, that's. But there's so many different.
Sam, we've done well, mate. The first person we asked, we're both in, mate. 1 in 1.
I mean, I'll take that. I'll be interested to know though that, you can pick a team with a goalkeeper in it, but part of me would think that we've got so many good defenders who can kind of rotate in goal, and that maybe I would choose a team that doesn't have a stick keeper, and then you just rotate the person in goal and rotate it, and then your back 3 rotate in goal. Do you know what I mean? Because you're quite limited with your choice on keepers as well. So, but I'll take that. I'll take being in Ade's team.
Yeah, I mean, there's some other players, but then I couldn't say. I was really picking from people who've played frequently as well, not just people who've come kind of for the one-off, because we've had some ridiculous players. Like there was a guy, I can't remember, he's quite stocky, and I think Lux and all of them knew him. I can't remember what his name was, but he was just ridiculous footballer, like just ridiculous. He came like twice. You're gonna have to ask. Bran will know his name, but he was left-footed, number 10, quite stocky guy, but ridiculous. I think he played at a tournament with us as well but yeah, he would go in everyone's team.
That's him.
Yeah, That's it.
Good.
Yeah, but he only came once or twice, but he's just
Yeah,
silly.
you're picking from the people that you kind of know on a frequent basis. But you're facing the same job that I guess a manager of like a Galacticos team would face. Like
Yeah.
you have to leave, people have to be left out, people have to be on the bench. So unfortunately, you go with your gut, and you have, and we appreciate that. And that is a BC team. That's a BC team.
I'd be interested to see everybody else's. I'd be interested. Yeah.
I think that was kind of floating around in the group for a little while, but me and Sam are going to make it our personal mission to get everybody's on paper properly now, I think. So,
right. Decent.
Right, Ade, let's get to some proper questions now.
All right.
Right, the first one is what we want to know is, are you Jason Punchin's younger brother? What's happening?
I don't know. I've been called a lot, you know. I've been called Jason Punchin. I've been called Jason Derulo. They all seem to be Jasons. So, but honestly, nah, I'm not. I just look very similar to him. He wishes for a much better looking version. He is Punchin.
Yeah. I'm sure we're gonna find a picture somewhere of these and stick it on a video as well. Right. Next one. What's the crack with you always being late? What, you just got bad punctuality, or what's the situation, Ade? Because the whole lateness gate was all in and around you.
Honestly, okay. To be honest, it's tough to get there on time. I have basically a schedule that means if I make one false move on the way from my house from work to the station, if I just like stay 1 minute extra at my house and miss one train, that connects a whole load of mess for me, and that means I'm gonna miss so much. And the thing is, it's not like we have a service that's frequent, but at the same time, it's kind of like I've gotten home from work, I know I need to go to the game. I can either go, and with the way the trains are, and be waiting for an hour and try and get the earlier train to be there for an hour or 45 minutes waiting for someone to pick me up before the game, not necessarily at the stadium or at the pitch, or I can get there 10 minutes before someone's going to pick me up, or 10 minutes before the game starts and go straight into the game. And the type of person I am, this is just me, I always choose get there as close to the game as possible, because it's a long way away. I don't want to make that journey, sit there for an hour or sit there for 45 minutes, get picked up, play, and then do the same back. I'd rather just get there and play. So that's really the decision. That's really
the people want to know, though. There's certain people that think you are lying about train times.
No, the train time is the same every week. It's just sometimes they get cancelled. If a train gets cancelled, I am F-worded. Like, yeah. I'm done. So if one train gets cancelled, I have to find another way. And there are other routes, but it's like the underground takes long. So it's literally a balancing act. They're trains, but the train that I choose to get every time is the later train, and it's the one that has to work on time.
Yeah, so, are the trains better out in Holland, Daddy?
They work better between cities, I tell you that much. They're on time. If they say they're getting here, there's no get to the station and they're going to cancel for 10 minutes or say they're going to cut out your stop. It's like, yeah, exactly what they say they're going to do, they do. So.
And no, one thing I wanted to ask you about is, because obviously if no one's fucking not gathered yet, is you went away. What did you make of, obviously we got you a couple of gifts and all that when you left. What did you make of that day and that night, and we give you the cake and the shirt and whatnot?
To be fair, I didn't expect it. Like, I obviously knew that I played football with everybody for so long. And, you know, it's like, it's not the reason why you make the journey every week to come down there is it stops being about the football as much after a while. It's like these people, like your friends, do you know what I mean? You're really cool. So I knew that we all had like a rapport in different areas with each other. We'd met each other outside of the football arena as well. So to get that, it was like I was almost close to tears. Had to hold it in because I didn't want you lot thinking you could like take the ball off me or I was going to become weak. Yeah, like it was just, I was like, I didn't expect it. Nobody let on to me that was what was going to happen. And you know, to get a frame shirt and a shirt with my name, and I still wear the shirt with my name on now. Do you know what I mean? And the frame shirt's in my house in England, so it's all just nicely on the wall. So it's like it was a real. You didn't have to do it, so I really appreciated it, and that just made me think that, you know what, if I come back whenever I can, I've got to try and come and see you, man, no matter what the journey is, or if it's not. Yeah, it just kind of solidified what I already knew was kind of like a bond between everybody there. So yeah, it was lovely. Really
So
good,
we're going to have to take a quick commercial break. Hopefully we'll slip an ad in there somewhere from someone in the group. But and remember, we'll be back and we'll be talking with Ade about his transition to playing 11-a-side football on Sunday. And of course, the current state of world football as well, how it's going on in different countries and different leagues starting up and stuff like that. So join us again after this.